Here it is, the all-new BMW X3. Can you tell it's all new? Well, that's one of the issues. A lot of people say, Zach, you don't like BMW. It's not true at all. The big problem I have with BMW is they're just evolving their cars ever so slowly. They're not really taking any chances. And this vehicle is a perfect example of that. Can you tell that this is the all-new X3? You have to be shown where the changes are in order to spot them, and I will do that for you. One big change is this vehicle has gotten bigger. In fact, this latest X3 is bigger than the original X5. Just think about that for a moment. The X3 came out in 2003. It was the first compact premium utility from a German brand, and it has been a major sales success for them. In fact, I believe this latest X3 is the driver's choice if you're looking for a compact utility. So on the outside, where did they change it? You know what's interesting, it was on the BMW media site, and they actually have a graphic showing before and after of the front and the rear of the vehicle in order to point out the changes. That's really how subtle they are. In the front, they've made the nose more upright. The kidney-shaped grille has been raised and enlarged with a bolder-looking hood to showcase power and athleticism. There's new headlamps, and surrounding the headlamps are the daytime running lights. Now they're slightly squared off. That's a change. Also, the air intakes on the bottom and the side are a little bit bigger, making this vehicle look more athletic. So that's kind of the change around the outside. Oh, one other thing, they've got LEDs in the lower bumper, which make it look slightly different. Around the back is where I notice the biggest changes. The rear tail lamps look a little bit more sleek and elegant. You notice there's still muscular looking exhaust tips around the bottom, and the creases down the side are not as sharp as before, showcasing the bulges of the front and rear fenders. I think it's a nice looking product, but it really isn't that different from the previous X3. This one has the M Sport package, you get the M brakes, and you also get the beautiful 20-inch wheels. I love this color in blue. I think it really does look good. Let's get inside, go for a drive, and we'll talk about what's good about it, how it drives. The X3 that I'm driving is the 3.0, the base unit, the one that the vast majority of people buy, and it has 248 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque, which is less than the Q5, that has 252 horsepower, but more than the GLC, which has 241. So right in the sweet spot there, and this is a great everyday unit for city driving. I find at highway speeds it can run out of breath, but in the city, the mid-range torque and what you're using it for, most of the time, it's absolutely perfect. BMW has done a great job of insulating the cabin from the engine, from the road noise. It's a really quiet interior, and then you have the drive modes where you can change things like the damping, also the steering, and the engine responsiveness to get it kind of the way you want. Even in the sportiest setting, I find, as I mentioned, at highway speeds, passing could use a little bit more grunt. But there is the option to get the M40, and that's the inline six-cylinder now with 355 horsepower. And when you change from the four-cylinder to the inline six, there's a marked difference in just how quick it is. It goes from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6.3 seconds with the Turbo 4 to just 4.8 with the inline six. Now, credit where credit is due, BMW does a really nice job of having a connected feel. This one does have the upgraded Sport package, which gives you the more responsive steering, and I would probably go for that along with the bigger wheels. One thing I will stress, if you're driving a BMW to test drive it, try one without the Sport package and one with, because it does make quite a big difference. All right, let's get into the actual size. As I mentioned, bigger than the last X3, bigger than the original X5. The back seat has plenty of room. There's not an issue there. I could sit behind the seats with plenty of leg room, and you can even recline the seat back if you like. The cargo area is long. There's a power liftgate, which is different from the X5 that has a split liftgate. This one, I think, is much more practical and conventional, what you're getting with most of the competition. So yes, this delivers the kind of drive you expect from BMW. It's very competitive with its direct competitors, and the way it drives, there's no fault there. Then you get into the interior, and back to my gripes about what BMW is dragging its feet on, and that is upgrading their design, both on the outside and the inside. When you have brands that are doing much more vivid and dynamic looking interiors, this starts to look a little dated. Same thing on the outside. They have a graphic that showcases the difference between the last version and the new version. Now, yes, if you had driven the last version, this does look upgraded, but for the average person looking at it, it looks like a BMW dash that we've seen for many, many years. And I would have to agree with that. You know, there's no real chances being taken here. Does it work? Oh yeah, it works. The iDrive system, when it first came out, was horrible. Now it's got to be one of the best going. And one of the things I really find disappointing is that BMW is forcing you to take a $6,500 package in order to get leather seats, heated seats, panoramic roof, navigation, and Apple CarPlay. That is really expensive on top of what this vehicle already costs. But on the positive side, BMW does interiors that are really second to none in terms of quality, fit, and finish. The one thing I will note though is they have cheapened out on the bottom of the doors. They've gone back to hard plastic where it used to have this soft coating before. That's one area where they've cut back. So this X3 is bigger, it's got more power, it's got a similar look, similar looking interior, but is it enough to lure people away from what other brands are doing? I will tell you, the X5 is going to have a much more dynamic looking dashboard. So hopefully that's the future of BMW, but this is a brand new product. It's going to be many years before this gets a refresh, even though it's brand new. We get a new X3, we get a new price. It starts at $48,000 in the Canadian marketplace for this model. If you want the M40, that is the inline 6-cylinder, that starts at almost 62 grand. And they're really kind of cheeky with their pricing. And when they get into the different packages, you want to get heated seats, pretty basic stuff. You want to get the pano roof. You want to get leather seats. You want to get navigation. You want to get Apple CarPlay. In this product is $6,500 more. They call it the premium package. This vehicle is now creeping way up in price. The good news is it's a better X3. Drives fabulous, got plenty of room on the inside, does everything you could ever want it to do except maybe wow you on the outside when it comes to new styling and on the inside. Here's a reality check. BMW is now in third place in the Canadian marketplace. Mercedes-Benz is about 10,000 cars ahead of BMW, and Audi for the first time has passed BMW in terms of sales. So there's something that they need to work on to get people excited about their brand. For me, I think it's styling. Flame away.